Welcome to this installment of HipMojo. I'm your host Ashkan Karbas-Rushan, and joining me is CT Moore. In this show, we're going to take a look at what happens if the economy does slow down, what happens to marketing dollars, and specifically what happens to online video. Then, in the second installment of today's show, we're going to look at which companies are most likely to be asked to sell or shut down. And then later on, of course, we're going to have lightning round and the email of the week. So CT, let's get right to it. You work in marketing.
Right.
They often say that when there's a slowdown in the economy, marketing is the first thing to go. Fact?
Well, part fact, part fiction. The reality is when the economy downturns, there's fewer consumer dollars out there. Each one of those dollars becomes more valuable for anyone who's selling anything. So marketing actually becomes more important. At the same time, people definitely change the way they spend and they manage their marketing budgets. They become more focused on ROI. They become more focused on marketing avenues that are more easy to measure. And anything that's performance-based becomes a lot more appealing.
It's funny because this week I wrote an article in Media Post where I said, net, if there is a slowdown, I think the same way that the 2008 meltdown sort of accelerated the deterioration of print, I think if there were a slowdown right now, it's going to affect TV negatively. Why? TV still gets the bulk of dollars, but the audiences are fleeing. But you mentioned ROI, and that's the second point. I think because it's very hard to measure ROI with marketing in general, then probably it is going to get a bit affected. I think the problem with online is we've always said online you get tracking, you get targeting, and that sets the bar higher, but it is what it is. Third, I think branded content, you've started to see marketers more open to that. I think branded content might hit some sort of pitfalls because, again, where's the ROI? It's a nice to have, it's not necessarily a need to have. You're going to get a flight to quality. Advertisers are going to demand more transparency, better inventory. But it boils down to giving just more value. I think people are going to say, okay, if I'm spending $1 here or there, where do I get the best bang for the buck? But I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, which is if consumers are going to basically be staying at home and not going and watching movies and paying $50 for a ticket and a popcorn, then they're going to stay home and consume content. That means more articles, more videos.
So well, how do you think it's going to affect video advertising specifically, pre-rolls or little banners inside a video? Do you think this is going to be something that appeals more to marketers as they shift more of their budgets online where things are measured, or do you think the marketers will still be drawn to conventional banners?
Well, I think banners are pretty much dead in the sense that you're getting pressure from search engines, so performance-based from the bottom of the market, and then you're getting the branding, more sort of flashy engagement coming through video. So I think anyone that is in the business of banners, their shelf life is pretty limited. But if you're talking just, let's say, call it traditional online media, so search or display versus video, the reality is video is where the growth is at, and you're going to see the growth there for the next 18 months. But the market of video is still very small, right? People get very giddy about online advertising, but 40% of that goes straight to search. So then the net of search online advertising is pretty small. I think you're going to see a shakedown, and you're going to see some repercussions. The point 7 of the Media Post article was actually that VC-funded firms are going to start to get under a lot of pressure. And this is a perfect segue for the second segment. There was an article in PE Hub recently that talked about basically, the undertaker of Silicon Valley that goes out there and starts to unwind companies. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about which companies will most be affected by the downturn if there is one.